Welcome back to Potatoes. Rutan Kabij coming at you again for another episode of Empyrion Galactic Survival in Alpha 6. It has now hit the stable branch, so I shall be resuming my series. I realize it's been nearly a month. In fact, it's been a month between episodes 5 and 6 since my last episode. I do apologize for the delay. I've been busy, as you've seen, doing a lot more crafting, craft work, building, schematics, things of that nature, while I've been experimenting with the experimental branch. Now that it is on the stable branch, everything that we have witnessed until now is installed and functioning properly, as well as a number of other additional things, which we will get into as I enter. You can see on the screen the settings that I have. I am actually beginning a new world using a different seed than I did at the beginning of the series. The reason for this is because there are so many new additions, and I have done this a few times, actually, as you may recall. I actually did start more than once, so honestly, I would like to see a new world. Here are the settings that I will be using, as you can see, pretty much identical to how I had it configured the previous run, with the addition of the new line on here for the temperature and radiation impact, which I am keeping on low for now. I don't know, I may turn it up later, and I am starting on Aqua, so it should not be that large of an impact anyway, but start off slow and we'll go from there. You can do it for the next season, perhaps at a harder difficulty. Here is the seed that I will be using for this run. So you can see I will hit the launch button now and see you as we are descending onto the planet in our escape pod. And here we go, down towards the surface. See if we can take a look and find our craft. Let's see. Old farm. I'm betting the old farm is our point of interest for our start. As you may recall, we do go through the new start experience. I have done this, twice, I think, in video, but it may have changed a little bit, so we will go through it once again as well. We are getting some resources near in, which is good. I've actually hit level 3 on the way down. Can't complain about that either. As soon as we crash here, we'll go and pick up our goodies from the escape pod. And I will leave the screen up here for just a moment so you can pause it and read it if you would like. This is the briefing for the new Robinson Protocol, or the quote-unquote new start experience as they describe it. Go ahead and hit let's go. A little closer to our pod and pick up what's inside here, which is just the med kit, emergency rations, and an O2 bottle, some of which we already have, of course. But I did hit the okay, let's start, so we can now see we have our quest. We grab the items from the pod with the F key, which I have done, and then our next step will be to open the inventory. So proceeding forward with that, we hit the tab key, and now as I recall, it's going to tell us to equip a whole bunch of stuff. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and shift click all this stuff into our hotbar, which likely will finish our updates. Let's see. Very good. Need to find the fuel tank, fill the fuel tank, and activate the base, which is, of course, for our new base. Have all kinds of information popping up on the screen on the left there, which is also one of the newer features with Alpha 6. But you see it only lasts for a moment and then it disappears. So with that said, we'll go ahead and run the 82 meters towards the old farm there, and I will see you there. And here's our new starter base, which is actually a different variety, different version than I have seen in other playthroughs. I've seen perhaps a half a dozen of them. I have gotten a few that were doubles. This is the first time, however, that I've seen this particular one. Got an O2 tank. Looks like it's actually 2 buildings in this case. And both of which are separate. Let's see what's in this one. Has a fuel tank in this building, it looks like. I can see that through the window. This is the, let's see, we got an, is that an ATM? I guess that's just a decoration. The power generator and fuel generator are here. So we'll go ahead and open the fuel tank. And we will take 1 fuel only just to get the quest update. Actually, I'll do 2 since that's how it's split. Drop that in. And that is now done, so we can activate the base with the Y key. I am, however, going to go inside just for curiosity, because I'm curious also as to what is inside the main section of the base. Looks like it's a fairly open area. Let's see, let's turn our light on. Wonder if it's actually sealed. I'm not sure if it is or not. That is glass. That's glass. I guess it is completely sealed. Very good. We activate the base is our next objective, which will complete this section of the quest. So we'll go ahead and hit the Y key as it suggests. Now powered up, and we get our next update. The next of which is open the equipment locker, which is identical to what we had done previously. We heard the little double chirp there. Go ahead and pick all this stuff up and close it. So now we're to equip constructor, place constructor, select the bike, create the bike. So it's basically a make our bike routine at this point. Let's see, we have food in here. Yes, we do, but we don't need it quite yet. So we'll go ahead outside and do a quick cut so we can start with that off on a fresh clip, just in case I fumble my tongue, because I have been known to do that on occasion, haven't I? So with that said, let's go ahead back into our inventory and throw most of this stuff back out to the main thing there, but we need to equip the survival constructor and place it down, which I'll do over, I guess, over in the corner here, kind of near the door, so it will be a little bit out of the way. And open that guy. We need to select the bike and create the bike. So let's see, do they give us some, let's see, do they still have the motorbike construction kit? They did give us that, very good. And in our, let's see, I forget which tab it's in, here it is, in the templates. Select the motorbike, and we do need to turn it on. I'm still surprised that they force us to turn it on, being that it does not require power. One of the little things I would have thought they would have done, but I guess not, which is fine. Go ahead and create our motorcycle. When it is complete, click, we'll go ahead and place it back in our inventory. Now upon exiting here, the next thing we do is equip the bike. Very good. There we go. And then next on our quest is to set a map marker. Now let's see, find a lake and right mouse click on the lake shore and select a waypoint on approach. Okay, I don't remember this section, so let's go ahead and do that. I know how to select the waypoints, of course. And let's see, I guess we'll head over towards this water here and select a waypoint, accept. Very good. Let's see, and now we need to place the oxygen generator and activate the O2 generator. Let's see, do we have that in our inventory? We do. Very well. Go ahead and put the bike down. Get our new sounding motorcycle from Alpha 6. And off to the water we go. Let's see. I know I made a waypoint. Let's see. Water was over this way. There it is, new marker. I didn't bother to name it, because this is just a temporary thing. Get over by the water here. And collect our bike with a Shift F. Puts it back in our inventory. And how about this little pool over here? It'd be good for our water preparation, I guess. Go ahead and place the water generator, or the oxygen generator down, rather, not water as yet. We will be doing one of those, of course. In fact, we'll be doing several of them. And we will take one of those, put in here, and that starts it. So now that is off and running. And our next step is to pick up ore. For that, we will, of course, need our drill, which I'll just throw down on the toolbar here. And we do have some biofuel. So I will now go hunt for a rock. And there are several right over there nearby, which is good. We like nearby. Go ahead and sprint over that direction. Also, the new menu on the multi-tools allow us to harvest the rocks, as you can see. We'll go ahead and right-click, and we see resource mining and stone removal is what we actually want. We'll go over to these stones here and begin to drill them. Guess I should reload the drill first, of course. Start banging away. When it disappears, we got an empty rock. Doesn't that figure? Hope that's not a sign of things to come. Way to start, isn't it? I know a lot of the larger rocks do not actually produce ore, oddly enough, so I will stick to the mid to smaller sized stones for now. There we go, but that one I did see drop. There we go. Pick these guys up. That updates that quest. Next thing we need to do is simply eat. Let's see if we can find an edible plant. Actually, I believe they give us one, do they? Yes, they give us some corn dogs, so we'll eat one of those guys because our food is down enough. Let's see, it gains us 50 food and we're down 382, so that's plenty. We can eat one of those guys. Now, we actually have a new quest that I do not recall. Mine ore deposits. We need to find ore and harvest some iron and some cobalt and some copper and all kinds of stuff. Let's see, is that actually one of our... That is still on chapter 1. Very good. That's still part of the tutorial. That part is newer. That must have been latter, because I do admit, since I want to say it was Alpha 12 or 6.0.12 actually, I have not actually done the new start experience. I've been launching and doing some other things with some of the scenarios, which they have also since added. So we'll go over to this and do some mining and work on these quests. I'll see you at a mining spot. And I should add, after taking about 2 steps, I note that it also added a whole bunch of waypoints for us. Looks like one for, let's see, iron, promethium, carbon, cobalt, or copper rather, cobalt. Let's see, there's silicon. We have one of most of them. I'm missing one. What am I missing actually? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I guess just the 5 because we're missing one of the ores. Oh, magnesium. That's right. Don't see magnesium. See if I can say this right. We do not have magnesium on the list actually. for the quest, even though it is one of the core 6 resources that we get on the starter planets, which is fine. So I'll go ahead. I'm going to actually start with Promethium, which is actually right next to our starting old farm, as a matter of fact. So we'll head over that direction, and I will see you there. Well, look at this. This is actually, my base is placed like directly on top of it. So if I actually drill down to get the Promethium that they suggest I start with, my base will likely fall in the hole and collapse. So this particular deposit will have to wait until after I disassemble this base during my leveling up process. Likely between episodes 1 and 2 will bring us up to level 10, if not more. Offline will be some catching up, but I will do some exploration and see what kind of base we can find. I may actually do some exploration before the end of the episode, so we have a general idea on what direction we will be going. But with that said, I'm going to head over to this next Promethium deposit, which is actually 500 meters away, which is still not far, and then we will begin mining that one. And here we are at the Promethium. So I'm starting to mine some of this. As you can see, I already dug down to it a little bit, and the find Promethium ore is checked. We do have to mine 30 of it to get our last update, so I'll go ahead and do that. Bring our volume down. Probably got a little of this in the background. Been horsing with some other things and checking volume. I admit I actually almost started a series on Planet Nomads, which actually was released last week, but because it was so close to the release of Alpha 6 on the stable branch here in Empyrion, I decided against it for now, especially because it is very short, or very early in the alpha release, so it will require some time before the content is even close to Empyrion. As you are likely aware, Empyrion has quite a bit of content, and with Alpha 6 and the increases they have done to it, it's nearly doubling the content actually of the playability with the way it works in the single player at least. We will see how it affects the multiplayer. That is an arena that I personally do not spend much time in, as I believe you are aware. Go ahead and pick this stuff up. Let's see, mine 30. How many do we have? We have 22, so we need a few more, and then that will get this quest update. Though I believe I am going to finish emptying out this fuel pack on this node, and I'll meet you at the next door. And here we are at the silicon in the nighttime, so we can't see too much of anything. Although there was a plant right under my nose there. We'll go ahead and refuel our drill and go down and get some of this stuff. We found the silicon over on the right there, and now we'll drill down and harvest 30 of this. Pretty much the same as before, but I will simply continue on with this process and burn a fuel pack here as well. And noticing they gave us 4 fuel packs to start. However, it wants us to harvest 5 ores, so that means we're definitely going to have to be doing some swimming before we can actually finish this quest. With that said, we've got some silicon in front of us here, so starting to collect that. And once we get up to 30, this quest update will be done, and then we'll move on to the next ore. And here we are at the copper. Once again, rinse and repeat, same deal. Harvest down through and get, looks like 40 of it for copper. And then we'll proceed on to the cobalt next. Still think I'm dumbfounded still that they don't have magnesium, being that that is one of the 2 resources required for ammunition, which is pretty key to have in this game after all. But for whatever reason, that appears to be an oversight on their end. which is okay. Just continue with our copper and cobalt and stuff like that and get us back to base. With luck, after mining the cobalt, it will be close enough to sunrise, so I will be able to do some swimming. As you can see, I only have one fuel left, so I will actually require a few more of the seaweed in order to make the biofuel to continue powering the drill, as I am still only level 4, I think. Might be 5 now, but around there. I'll probably be 5 or 6 by the time I'm done, but it's still not going to be level 10, which is what is required to get the tier 2 drill, of course. And here we are at the cobalt. So once again, rinse and repeat, and we'll get this done. Did hit level 5 on the way, just picking plants as I was running. Haven't really been using the motorcycle for that exact reason. I knew that I would be gaining experience, because at this point the primary function, of course, is really to level up so we can make everything we need to make. At any rate, I'll go ahead and burn through this fuel pack. Got another 30 seconds till daylight here, so that should be just about right to do some swimming and get some more fuel packs before our next harvest. So here we are, partway through the day. And I'm actually working on getting some seaweed. We do actually have some of these underwater rocks for the pentacid. Don't have any fuel, but this here in front of me is one of the seaweed bushes, which are found deeper in the water. There are a number of different style bushes. Like here's a different style right there. As you see, I just hit level 7 collecting them. But I did just find them. They are actually right in the pond, kind of near where our base is actually. But I have noted that the seaweed is generally in the deeper water. In the shallower water around the edges, I could not find any. But here down in the center, I'm actually finding quite a bit. There are also times other seeds that I have seen it around the edges, around the outside. Once again, though, that was around the outside of this ground weeds, which actually are just decorations, but in the deeper sections around the outside, those often have the seaweed with them as well. But as you can see here around the edge, it does not. It's only in the deeper section of this particular pond, so this will take a little bit of swimming before we get enough to make a few more fuel packs, which will then be enough to get us up to where we need to be for the tier 2 drill. So here we are back at the base. We're in 8 hours left until the end of night 3. The hostile wildlife has in fact begun to spawn. I actually had to kill a few of those night raptors and the insane aliens and even one of the plant monsters along the shoreline as I was returning to base. But I took all those down, so we're no longer safe at the nighttime, so we'll just have to make sure we keep our ammunition plentiful, which is going to be the next requirement, of course, getting the iron and magnesium. Those are the 2 resources that we had not acquired as yet. In the process, however, I am going to open up our schematic list here, because we will want to start choosing the things that we can craft. I am going to start first with the fuel packs, which I can't actually do until level 10. So I guess I'm not going to start with the fuel packs. In that case, I will simply make a bunch of the basic ones so I can power our base to keep that running while I continue to harvest and continue to level up. There are quite a few other things that we will do, though. For instance, the multi-tool we know we want. That is going to definitely be a tool, as well as the tier 2 drill, though I cannot craft it quite yet. The rest I don't believe I will need quite yet. Let's see, let's go to the weapons. we'll do, let's see, and actually in the weapons we actually can't do too much as yet either. I'll do the assault rifle so we can make the bullets for it, as well as the sniper rifle. I won't bother with the tier 2 things quite yet, but I'm making armor as well. Do I believe I have one on already? Yes, I do. Okay. And we'll go outside and start crafting up some fuel packs so we can get that done before the daylight. And then we'll go back out and begin to and get the rest of our goodies, I should say. It's actually not beginning, it's more continuing. And here we are the following morning. Another 30 minutes or 30 seconds, whatever the countdown timer is, before daybreak, but the sky is already starting to glow. So we'll head off to the iron, which is the final resource requested for this quest, to mine 50 of the iron ore. So I have, as you can see, let's go to our drill here, but I have mined enough of the seaweed to get us 8 more of the fuel packs. I'll continue to head over to the iron there, and iron there, where'd it go? Thought it was right under me. Actually, it is right under me. But I'm hearing beasties. There's one of those plant guys. Out a little too early. Not quite into the daylight when they despawn, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and harvest all the plants. And then we will go down, and our iron deposit 20 meters below us. We'll go ahead and start mining that. And then we'll move on to the magnesium, which is the final resource. And then we'll continue the rest of our quests. And finally, the magnesium. As you can see in the right there, I have done the back to base because the iron was the final resource needed before. And I did swing by the base because I got attacked by a group of those alien, insane alien guys, etc. I attacked the bad one, which was aggressive, and then his pals came over and fought me and managed to get me poisonous bite, so I did stop by the base to heal up. But we'll finish up the magnesium, and then as you can see on the right there, the next step will be to make a bunch of the ingots and such, which I will do back at the base overnight. So here we are back at the base. It is at nighttime again. Of course, I got attacked on the way back. Not surprising, it's the nature of the beast. But our next quest objective, as you can see on the right hand side there, is to create iron, copper, cobalt, silicon, and promethium ingots. Well, pellets in Promethium's case. And then some fuel packs. So I will go ahead and do this. I put all the ores inside. I've already done some inventory maintenance. Stuff in my inventory is just awaiting to be rotten. So I will allow that to occur. Go ahead in here, and we need iron ingots. We'll make 10 of those. Copper, 10 of those. Cobalt, 10 of those. Silicon, 10 of those. And promethium, 10 of those. I'm going to go ahead and make 10 magnesium as well, because we can proceed forward and make a few bullets, because we're kind of low on those as well. So while that's running, we'll go through. I'm not sure exactly how many iron ingots it needs to make, but it looks like we have enough there at 10, which is actually 100 of each. The other thing I will bring up as I'm chattering while we're waiting for that to complete is that I have, in fact, reached level 10. So we're now able to make the schematics and, in fact, the tier 2 multi-tool. Sorry, I guess it must be level 12, but some of the other tier 2 stuff. But of the more important things, however, is the fact that now we can make the ladybug. So I will make my coloration of that, which is a level 10 unlock. It only takes 10 minutes. I'll go ahead and move this to the factory, but while we're making these ingots, we'll go ahead and dump this in and begin that, so we can start harvesting much faster, and do that from the safety of a vehicle. Go ahead and crank up with that, so we can then proceed forward to make the first of the small vessels, which I will then proceed to use to explore the planet and see what I can find. So we can find a reasonable base which will replace this one. This is of course just temporary. Whether it's going to be the farm or another outpost, it remains to be seen, because I am not yet certain what is on this planet at this seed. Just sit here and wait and see. We're down to the cobalt now. And once those complete, we'll be done with that quest line. I know we're going to need to make the fuel packs as well, so let's see, can I actually queue those as yet? I don't believe I can. I need to let the Promethium pellets go, so we'll sit here and wait just a moment for that to occur, and we'll catch up with you then. Okay, and all caught up here. Promethium pellets are crafting, so I'll go ahead and make 10 more of the fuel packs. I have already made a bunch of those, of course, but that was before the quest line, so we will allow that to finish. When the first of the fuel packs comes up, then the next quest, I believe, is going to be killing beasties, is it? Processing ore, which is what it's working on now, and then go hunting, yeah, to kill an animal and loot the animal, stock food, to return to the base and use the meat, and then put something in the fridge, and that will just about wrap up the quest line. The last is make yourselves at home, which I haven't actually looked at yet, but once those are done, actually I think I will wait until the morning before we go hunting, of course, but between now and then I'll go ahead and make a bunch of the ingots to go ahead and start the ladybug up. So here it is, sunrise on the following day. As you can see in front of me, I have planted a couple of corn sprouts down. There are only 2 plots, so it's not enough to make the canned food, because you need 3 for that. But the reason I chose corn is because the new resource requirements to create a growing plot is actually the plastic and the rotted food. Previously it had been fiber, but no longer. It is now plastic, which is made from corn, so that's why I started with that resource. Also, if we take a look in the factory here, you'll see that I dumped in as many ingots as I could. We're still short a few iron, copper, and cobalt, so I will get those while I am out running around, as well as killing and looting the animal, but I wanted to wait for daylight for that to occur. So I'll head out now over to these iron, copper, and cobalt, which are all relatively close by. Actually, it was a pretty good spawn on the seed for the resources needed. Also, I should add that in the process, in completing the ingot quest, it granted me the assault rifle with the bullets, 150 bullets actually. I added 20 into the magazine, of course, but I did make an additional 500 of the 5.8 millimeter bullets, which are the bullets required for that gun, so should be fairly safe in running around. So that'll run off and start harvesting the ingots that we need, and then I will go hunting, and I'll see you there. So we now have the metals required. I've actually been recording in between the different nodes, just in the off chance that I was attacked by something, which I wasn't, so that was kind of a null point. Those clips you will never see. But now all we need to do is to kill a critter. And here are apparently 2 Stegosaurus. take them out. I'm not sure if they gang up on me or if they're individual, but I'll use my assault rifle to take them out. One down, which is apparently all I needed for the update, which we got. So now we just go back to base, create a meat, and fill the fridge. Go ahead and head back towards base, and I will see you there. And as you can see, we're back. We're back to base is checked, as is fill the fridge, because I went in there to get some meat. Oddly, taking meat out actually was the same as putting it in, but I did put some of the additional stuff in there as well. So I have a stack of everything in the fridge of the harvestable stuff, but the rest of the stuff I'm just leaving out and rotting, and I'd mentioned, since we need, actually figured it out, 548 of the plastic by the time I'm done with my base and all that you've seen, so that's quite a bit. The next to update this quest is simply create a meat. So we'll go ahead and put these in there and make 2 stacks, as well as, let's see, we needed iron. Let's see, what was it? I think 30 iron. I should take a look actually to finish with our, with the blueprint. Let's see if we can get in the right tab here of the library. We need 40 cobalt, 30 iron, and 30 copper, it looks like. So, 130 iron and 30 copper. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start those up. So we needed 130 iron, which is 13, 11, 12, 13, 30 copper, and 30 cobalt, or 40 cobalt was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 30 copper. And then to the meat. So now we simply will wait for these to craft. We will have this quest updated and completed, and also have our thing going. So we'll simply sit here and wait for that update, and then I'll be back. And as you can see on the screen, the update just occurred. So now we're on to, I believe it's the final quest, to open the control panel and open the registry, which is a pretty quick quest to do. In the meantime, however, I'm going to go into the factory and pick up the goodies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let the meat continue crafting, etc. But now, if we open up the factory, we should be able to put the 40 iron, the ingots in there. Created basically what I needed, so I'll go ahead and dump those in. And of course we're short 20 ingots because I miscounted. Good job, Brat, good job. So I'll go back over here, and 2 more ingots will craft, and then let the rest of the crafting finish doing there. 1, 2. There we go. A little time lapse with that part. So go ahead and open the factory once again and drop the ingots in there. So now we can start production. So in 15 minutes real time, I will be able to drop that down. In the meantime, however, let's go ahead inside the base. That 15 minutes is also going to equate pretty close, I think, to the clock as far as daylight is concerned as well. In the meantime, however, we will open the control panel with the P key, which will get the first of the 2 updates. And there it is. And then open the registry, which is with the B key, as in beta. Go ahead and let that garbage disappear off the screen. and then open the panel. Isn't that the registry? That's not the registry. Wait a minute. Let's see. What's the registry? P. And the registry. Okay, now I'm confused because the registry I thought was the B key. That's the player right there. Let's take a look at what the registry actually is. I'll figure that out and come back in. So here we are back, close to 15 minutes later. As you can see by the remaining time, we're down to about 2 minutes before the blueprint is done. But I did take that time, actually, to research a little bit for where the registry was, because that is, of course, the remaining part of the quest here, which is actually the final quest in the startup quest. But what I found out, they were suggesting the only information I could find was in the PDA, which is the F1 key. But that is now the quest journal because things have changed. However, while I was sitting in here watching the moments tick down, I also was looking up here, and if you look up top here at my mouse, top center, we have listed the registry. So let's go ahead and hit that. And there we go. Tutorial completed. The registry for the is actually what's used to store your to show, I should say, your HVs and your bases and whatever things you own or have a core in on the planet. But that is what's listed here. That is the registry, and again, it used to be in the PDA, but as of 6 hours ago, as I'm recording this anyway, that is no longer the case from the current information. So if you do get stuck on that, do note that it's in the top. Hopefully this will be aired and you may be lucky enough to see this in time to prevent any frustration with that. That, my friends, is the end of the quest line. Now our blueprint is now, 12 seconds away. So I'll go ahead outside, albeit nighttime. That wasn't quite daylight when it spawned. I probably should have just let the clock run, because I admit I paused it when I swapped out. But our blueprint should be done any second now. Actually, I guess it is done, so we'll go ahead and, oops, in the factory. Wait a minute, library, okay, wait a minute. Let's highlight the ladybug. There's the spawn button. We'll go ahead and spawn the ladybug out. So we now have a vehicle, and I do have plenty of power, as you saw. So we will run that when we return. That will be for next episode, because I know our time is probably 45 minutes post-edit. But we will go out with our vehicle, and in between, actually, I'll do some harvesting in between. I may run it a bit then. But other than that, the bulk of next episode is going to be, frankly, some exploring. We will get our first SV in the world, which is also level 10 for the tier 1 prefab. I'll create that after creating a bunch of ingots, which actually we can even put that in the factory right now. It's the prefab T1 altar is one I'll use, since that is level 10, but that's also fairly economical as well, which is why I use it for my first vehicle. So we'll go ahead and put that in the factory. And that is the project that we will be working on for the next episode. Until then, however, I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the episode, and even more so, I hope you're enjoying Alpha 6, now that it is in the stable branch live server. So, I thank you very much for watching, and until next time, Take care.